generating points. 1, obviously public power supply. 2, backup generators. And 3, inverter systems. So much so that it's kind of like a fail-safe. Now, all of these things cost money, particularly the generating sets. If you've ever been here, you probably heard the generating sound, generator sounds when the power goes off. And I think everybody in Nigeria is pretty, aware of what a generator sounds like. Now, we source them, particularly in the 2 decades, as more people with more money, more disposable income, and obviously businesses run their business, have bought a generator, or in some cases, generators, right? It's little surprise these days when you go to some establishments, they have as many as 4 generating sets, right? So that power can be supplied to that particular business on a regular. Good. Now, diesel is about 1,250 naira, if you didn't know, and it's about the same price as petrol. Fine. Now, buying a generator, just like buying a vehicle, is one thing. The replacement parts are another thing. The constant servicing, another thing. Now, for most of us, with our small gasoline generators, right, we usually just service the generator when we notice that the oil done the tickle, or maybe one day you run the gen and it just goes off. Then we call for the repairman, the serviceman, to come and service the generator. But for those bigger generating plants, right, what we call plants, right, those bigger generating sets, the diesel and the gas-powered generating sets, they are very, very specific because of their engineering, because of the level of engineering, ladies and gentlemen. They run for maybe 2, 4, 5, 6, 7,000 hours, and then you are meant to, have them service. You're meant to call. In fact, if you buy your generator from an accredited dealer, there's a service chart they have, just the same way it is in cars. So they keep a record. Every 5,000 hours we service the generator, or 6,000 hours we come. The generator sets have timers, right? So it's kind of like an odometer. As the gen is on, it's counting how many hours it's being used. They come and all that costs me. With obviously inflation, you have to ask yourself, are these things still being met? Now, during my movement last week, for this conversation, I stopped at a few electronic stores, household items, those shops that they sell household items, televisions, generating sets, deep freezers, and whatnot, and asked about generating sets. I asked, how's your sales concerning generators? And they said, I got a day, but no day like before. What apparently seemed to be, moving the markets for them are 32-inch television sets. They are way more expensive than they used to be before, but they seem to still be within the reach of particularly people who are getting into their new homes. They buy a 32-inch or a 40-inch television set. 50, 55, 60, we're talking about close to 700 or even a million naira. In fact, from about 400,000 naira above, that's how much you would have to part ways with one big television set. But it generates the big issue because you have a television, but if it's useless, it doesn't generate less. So it got a big brand generators. Some buy, but because which we used to use back in school, in university, if you want to show you a big boy, as soon as you just rent your small self-contained, you get one small generator. I hear those small generators now. We used to buy them those days for, it's not 15,000 naira or so, right? Between 8 and 15,000 naira. I hear those things are now about 60 to 70,000 naira. Those small ones. The ones that, you put the oil in the tank too, so that, it modulates the engine as is burning. 60 to 70,000 naira, brand new. And then the slightly bigger one is about 150. And then you now get to 200,000 naira if you're going to buy the 2.5 or 3.5 kVA generator. But more importantly than buying those generators is, where do you place them? Are you safety conscious? A lot of people in the past have had their houses burnt because they didn't do proper wiring, or maybe they didn't place the generator properly in their homes. My name is Jude. Let's have a conversation.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
Port Harcourt with Jude on 92.3 Nigeriainfo.
017-923-0002, 0817923-0003, 0817923-0002, 0817923-0007. Now, at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X. All right. WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. All right. The last number I just read that is solely for the for the reception of messages. So that would be SMS messages or WhatsApp messages, preferably WhatsApp messages. So please, once again, 0809-030-6416, 0809-030-6416. Do you think a lot of people are still buying brand new generators or generators in general? And then, what about these safety measures? You've bought the generators. Where are you keeping them? How are you keeping them? How are you maintaining them? George is on the line. George, let's get to say hello to George this morning. George, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, George.
How are you doing?
Very well. Welcome, George.
Yeah, this area of generator set, you have to have a good position in your house, especially the balcony, well-ventilating area where you can keep it. Then while the balcony door should always be locked. Peradventure, if your generator is emitting carbon dioxide.
They all do.
So, if you have such generators, it's advisable you lock the balcony door and also keep your generator set a little bit far from the kitchen.
Okay, but George, you know, right, that a lot of us in Port Harcourt, even Rumosi, I know Rumosi fairly well. You know, those of us who live in apartment complexes where you have 3 or 4, maybe even 7 tenants, the balcony, right, it's not very big. And that's the same space, particularly those of us that stay upstairs, maybe the second floor. You have to change your oil there. You have to change your plug there. The place stays, the generator stays in the area. You see them put tires. I don't know if you have that. We put tires so that yes, the generator the tires can absorb the shock of the vibrations of the generator.
In such conditions, there is a technology that is have. You can have a pipe which you can construct with your exhaust, then position it outside. Then if the exhaust is emitting carbon dioxide, the carbon dioxide will be going outside instead of returning back to your apartment.
House.
Or if that is not done, there's also a device which you can install on your generator that will reduce the emission of carbon dioxide.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm just hearing this for the first time. Do you know how much?
There is even a device that even can help reduce the quantity of fuel that your generator
consumes. Okay.
Yes. There's a lot of new technology, so if we can discover those things and apply them, it will help us. And also, servicing the generator regularly too is also a helpful medium.
How often? You know, I've had generators before, George. I don't know about today, but those days is when the gen off and now they change oil. But how often would you advise people to change the oils in their generating sets?
At least 2-3 months.
Every
2-3 months.
Okay.
Yes, 2-3 months is okay.
Okay. All right, George. Now, my final question to you, if you can help us. Do you think a lot of people are still buying brand new generators?
For that, the numbers of persons buying new generator is reduced because of the cost. But people prefer going for second-hand generators now because of it's a little bit affordable.
Okay, all right. So you are saying the same thing that the traders told me. George in Rumosi, thank you very much for your thank you very much for joining us. All right. So yeah, you're buying secondhand, but I have a friend who, if I have friends who are not very comfortable with the idea of buying secondhand generators, right? Cars, yeah. Generators, no. In fact, anything apart from a vehicle, they will tell you, please buy brand new. That's what they tell you. But let's be honest, anything brand new right now in this economy, it's costing like an arm and a leg. Like literally an arm and a leg. They don't come cheap. WhatsApp 009-030-6416. 009-030-6416. Good morning. In my area these days, when the light goes off, nobody puts on their gen until about 10 or 11 o'clock in the night. Obviously, I think it's because of the expenses that they are incurring. We don't have light regularly, but not everybody's putting their gen on again at 6 o'clock. They wait till just before they go to sleep to put their gen on. Oh, boy, with that. Nathaniel is in Bonnie. Nathaniel, good morning to you. Welcome to Hello Port Harcourt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I can't remember the last time I actually for my gen. It's been long, some months ago. And,
you are one of the lucky few.
Is it lucky?
You say you can't remember the last time you fueled your generator. That means you have power regularly.
No. The fact is that I don't really have power. The means of affording that portable fuel and then using it on your gen is what is really costing you. So, using more than 1,500, like we living in Bonnie, the rural part of it, it's always very costly to buy fuel. Now, if you buy fuel, say 1,300 naira, but in Bonnie, it costs even more than 1,500. You buy up to 1,700 naira. So, having that kind of cost effect on yourself, additional one, buying fuel, and then sometimes you use it for business. But when you use it for business, you need to count the loss. So sometimes you manage to just go otherwise. But talking about buying new gen, I think right now most don't go for that new one anymore. But some people buy that. It's not as usual as it is. When I bought my gen, I bought it brand new. But if I'm going for a new gen now, I think I will not go for that brand new type.
Why?
It's very costly.
But what if I spoke to one of the traders, Nathaniel? This was at mile 3, and the guy told me that look, and he knows a lot of people are buying second-hand generators, but he would advise people to buy brand new because the money you will spend in maintaining the second-hand generator, right, would be about the same if you buy a new one for the first 6 months.
That is actually true. If you buy the new one, it will take you almost about 6 months before you try to, or you start maintaining it. If you go to that old one, I think it's almost like just 1 month or so. But the fact is that arranging that kind of bulk amount of money by again at the time is always very heavy for one to do. So some prefer that Belgium type, so to speak, and then if anything happens, you can always maintain it. That's it.
All right. Now, you say you are in Bonnie, right? You're calling us from Bonnie. Yes. Now, I don't know if people in Bonnie have the same problems that people in Port Harcourt have when it comes to placing their generators. People place their generators at their balconies, some people in front of their doors. Very few people have big enough compounds to put the generator far away. So how do you guys do it?
It's almost the same thing like what happens in Port Harcourt. Because of the environment people live, like in the urban area of Bonnie, where houses are just built. People prefer keeping their gen around very close to themselves, especially at the balcony or very close to their window side, or at the door, almost very close to the top. So it's always very dangerous. But for those who live in the rural area, there are enough space, like you can extend it up to like 10 meters away from your building, so that it gives enough space, and the carbon monoxide are not really emitted close to your
house. Yes.
Your kitchen room to be more dangerous. But it's always very dangerous to those who live in urban areas. Their houses are just very close to each other, and you barely have enough space to arrange yourself. So you just keep the the gym very close to their house and not minding the danger involved or the side effects, and that is what causes a whole lot of problems.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Nathaniel. Pleasure speaking with you this morning. Now, I had a page up earlier on, and it's an American site, and the author was suggesting that if you have a generator, that it is preferable to keep your generating set at least 200 yards, right? Or is it 200 meters? But 200 yards away from the major building for very obvious reasons. One, the noise it generates. If you're not getting those soundproof generating sets, for example, it's better off to have it further away from your immediate vicinity. And then there's the issue of the gas, talking about the toxic gases, whether it's carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or all the other sulfuric base or benzene base byproducts from your processes. Now, the challenge is, like I said earlier on, and I think a lot of us in this, particularly in Port Harcourt, I use Port Harcourt and Lagos because I've seen this trend as well. So we have our homes, our apartments, and then at the corner, maybe in front, maybe where you have the gates, or maybe somewhere behind or at the side, where the security post is likely stationed, right? I see people now put their generators, all of them, in banks. In fact, in some places, everybody's generator, the landlord would say, okay, all your generators, please be at this side, all right? It's not like the compound is very big, but it's all at this side. In some compounds, right, they are so well organized that the landlord would have this what they call it, the changeover lines, right, for each of the apartments labeled. So flat 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, they're all there. So you come, you put your generator, you connect it, and then you run your generator away from the house. So they don't allow people to put their generating sets on the balconies. But not everybody's able to do that. And maybe, like I said, maybe it's a consideration, that should be made. Well, back to you. We have just about 5 minutes. Back to you now. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003 at Nigeriainfo PH at Nigeriainfo PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeriainfo PH at Nigeriainfo PH. WhatsApp is 0809 030 6416. All right, so WhatsApp messages coming through. Let's check my own page. I don't know why. I think most people are listening to me this morning from my personal space. Now, Joe says, Jude, I have two generators, a big 5 kVA and a medium 2.9 kVA, but I don't use them so regularly, even before the Tinubu economics hit Nigeria last year, except for extended periods of power outages. We keep the generators in the gen house. I switched to an inverter under the now less hurried Buhari economics era. I think we should switch to solar sources of power, Joe. But those solar sources are not particularly cheap any longer. There was a time, I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, with under 500,000 naira, right? You could have, gotten yourself a kit, maybe a 1.5 or 2.5 kVA, and then put your panels, whatever. But these days, in fact, let me not give you guys assumptions. I've had a few of these marketers, send me their quotes, over the past 2 months. It's like the universe is telling me I have to buy one myself. Where are you? Aha, okay. So here it goes. Now, 10 kVA complete inverter system paired with intelligent charger controller, can power 45 bulbs, 8 fans, 6 televisions. Wow. 2 standard fridges, 1 freezer, AC, and pumping machine, microwave, and electric blender. 10 kVA, complete inverter system. So it's a handsome sum here of just about 6 million naira. Handsome. Notice I said handsome. Whoo! 6 million naira. 6. Joe, how many of us can afford 6 million naira? They go. So you see why people may just be hanging on to their generators for a while? But that's the thing. Operating generators is now becoming more expensive. But trying to switch to alternatives is not cheap either. Frankly here says, hi Chi, good morning. For me, I think generators should always be away from the building as much as possible. If possible, people should have their exhaust channeled away from even the generator. That way, whenever the gen is on, we know that the gas is going to there. Unfortunately, most people cannot fabricate their exhaust to suit this particular purpose. So for everybody's interest, please keep your generating set away from your building. But Jude, a lot of people are not buying brand new generators. If they are, they're buying smaller ones and then reducing their consumption. My area is like yours. 8 o'clock, if there's no light, nobody has their generating set on. Welcome to the new Nigeria. Oh yes. Like I said, it can't be just me. It can't be just on my street. It's like we're reliving, my childhood era again, with less people having generators. In this case, they just don't have the generators. Those who even have the generators are not using them. Anyway, we'll take a breather. Jude's caller comes up at 10 o'clock. Whew, do I have something to get off my chest this morning? And as always, a big conversation by 11 o'clock. Hopefully we'll find something that just gets us right back at you.
I miss the taste of the sweet life.